Hello and welcome back to The Little Terrarium. My name's Becky Turner, and if you didn't know already, I'm a graphic designer and illustrator based in London. Today, happy Halloween by the way, it's the 30th today, my video is going up tomorrow, possibly on Monday. I might have to change my upload schedule because I don't have very good internet at home and I'm struggling to upload them on Sundays. So anyway, today I'm going to be showing you how I use a program called Affinity Designer, which is a vector illustration package. I'm going to be creating an illustration which is about my top 6 places to go in London, which is cool if you've lived in London for a while and you want to find new places to go, or you've just come to London and you don't know what to do. These are kind of some of the less touristy things to do. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video and I'll see you later. Alrighty, so this is my first time recording audio. No idea if this is going to work or not. Yeah, so this is Mac Affinity. I'm starting to draw the shape of London, which is what I'm going to be drawing. I'm basing it on a map of London. I had a little sketch on the side of my desk, which I'd drawn just from maps and stuff to get a kind of rough shape, but I didn't want it to be too accurate. So what I've done here is I've drawn a centre line grid, and I think I made it like 450 pixels margin in from the edge and the top, just so that there was enough space for the artwork in the centre. I was going to fill the rest of it up with greenery later, as we'll see. But yeah, so setting the document up like that. And I'm using an A3 document, as I was planning on maybe turning this into prints. I'm reasonably happy with how it came out, so I might still do that, I'm not sure, but yeah, so I wanted the proportions to be suitable for A3 printing landscape, obviously, so that's how I've set the document up. Yeah, so what can I tell you? This is Affinity Designer. You probably haven't seen too many videos of people designing it in Affinity Designer, but I absolutely love it. I use it at work all the time, and I love it first of all because it's really cheap. So I keep mentioning that it's £30. It's actually not. It's £39.99, so it's £40. But I still think that's an absolute bargain for a piece of software. I don't think you're going to find anything much cheaper. And it's created by a company called Serif. It was released a year ago, so I've been using it for nearly a year now. I have to say I've almost entirely stopped using it for my illustration work. It's fantastic. And any designer listening to that is probably thinking, oh wow, how the hell can she be doing that? You're mental. But honestly, it takes a bit of time to get used to, because some of the controls are in different places. I'll try and give some examples as we go through, as I spot something. So this is a sped up version of me. I did this yesterday, Saturday afternoon. I spent a few hours doing it, making it look nice, and then I thought I'd record the voiceover later. So if I spot any examples of me doing it, but I had to speed this video up quite quickly to be able to get it into a reasonable amount of time, because I don't think you want to sit there for an hour watching me create an illustration. So yeah, so let's talk a little bit about what am I drawing now. I'm drawing my representation of the BFI. So this illustration is kind of my representation of my favourite 6 places to visit in London, varying in range. Most of them are free, so you can go. So this is the BFI, which is the British Film Institute Cafe, and I think it's the most underrated cafe in central London. It's absolutely brilliant. It's just on the side of the BFI, so obviously that's where you go to watch films. There's lots of nice indie films, and actually I'll admit I've never actually been and watched a film there, and I really should. But however, I have been to the cafe a few times, and it's really lovely. It has lush seating. It's really comfortable. You can go there and have a coffee, work on your illustration work, or wherever it is you want to do. Feel really inspired. There's lots of creative people around and stuff. I think it's really great. So yeah, check it out if you have a chance. The next thing that if you can hear fans whirling, by the way, my laptop does not like running iMovie. It really struggles with it for some reason, so something I'm going to have to work on. The next of my 6 locations, the one I'm drawing now, is a place called Drink Shop Do, which is a kind of creative hub in King's Cross. If I didn't say, the BFI is on the South Bank next to the National Theatre, between the South Bank Centre, so if you're in central London it's pretty easy to go check that out. Drink Shop Do is a kind of creative cafe where they do nice cocktails. They sell amazing cakes. We had a red velvet cake when we last went. It was brilliant. And they do all sorts of kind of random fun events. Like I went recently. I did a blog post about it, which I'll link in the description below. And we did a Russell Brand clay modelling, which is obviously absurd and silly. It was really fun, but they had a little prize at the end of it. And then they also had two ladies who were teaching you how to do 50s hair, which I thought was really fun. So I really liked that. And then this one that I'm doing is Frank's Cafe, which is, if you go into Peckham Central, next to the cinema, behind it there is a car park. If you go through a door by that car park, now I only know about this place because a friend of mine who lived in the area told me and took me, and it was fantastic. So it's a little bit of a hidden gem, but quite a few people know where it is. You just have to be sort of told. Yeah, so you go through this kind of unmarked door. It looks a little bit seedy, to be honest. You walk all the way up through the car park, which is just, normal car park, and then you see a bouncer and a gate, and you're like, oh, what's this? You go through, and then it's this the whole top floor of the car park is a bar, and it's incredible, and it has amazing view. If you want a different view over London, definitely go to Frank's Bar. Being outside, it's only open during the summer months, I believe, so now in what are we in November, it's probably already closed, but yeah. Oh, just quickly to talk about what I'm doing at the moment. I have a real ball ache trying to work this out, trying to get the dots evenly spaced around the box, and I had to actually stop and go and Google how to do it. When I pause like this, it's because I'm going and Googling something. But basically, it doesn't quite. There isn't the same button that there is in Illustrator. So you have to go. What do you have to do? So you have to go layer, alignment, and then distribute objects horizontally or vertically, whichever way you're trying to do it. So there are some other buttons. If you can see, I'm not on the right tool. When I go onto the right tool, you have options to distribute the objects. So either by center or whichever. Which is really useful rather than you trying to measure them out and stuff. And actually, I should probably use that more often. But anyway, it wasn't me, obviously, because it's slightly different how it works in Illustrator. I had to go away and Google it. So if you're ever wondering how to do that in Affinity Designer, then that's how you do it. Anyway, so what have I drawn so far? I've drawn the colour. So the way I work when I'm doing vector illustration is I completely ignore the colour palette to start off with. I just use random colours. I'm like, oh, the river is kind of going to be blue. And the river, the region Hyde Park is going to be green. The body is going to be some kind of green, and I don't know what the outside is going to be. So my intention here isn't that the coffee cup will end up being yellow, but I kind of just stick in any random colours until I finish creating all the shapes. And then when I'm happy with that, when I've built all of the sections, then I go away and create a colour palette. And when I get to that point, I'll talk about that a little bit more. So yeah, then what I'm working on at the moment is the Petticoat Lane Market part of the illustration. So it's a market in East London, and it's a brilliant place to go and buy knockoff dresses, basically. And it is legal because the merchants have to cut all of the so it's regulated by the police. And the merchants have to cut all of the labels and everything out of it, so technically you don't know who it is, but if you know what you're looking for, you can tell. And I bought some ridiculously nice dresses from there. So if you ever want to buy a lovely party dress, then head on down there and you can get one for like £15 or something. It's a nice little morning out on Sunday morning, obviously, like most markets. So yes, that's what I'm drawing there. And then, Hyde Park. There's not much to say about it, really. It's just a really lovely place. It's a park. It's a big park in London, if you don't know it. It's got a lake, which is what I'm drawing now. This is kind of my developing illustration style that I'm quite liking. I've already done one big illustration in this style, which I really liked. It seemed to go down well, so I thought, oh, I'll do another one and I'll do a video about it. But yeah. So I only really started developing this illustration style about a year ago when I started working in Affinity Designer, and it's because there is a tool called the Curves tool, which makes, and you'll see me using it from time to time, so the smoke on the coffee cup, what's it called, the steam on the coffee cup, so it makes radius on the shape really easy, so you can So I know that you can do that in Illustrator already, but what I mean is you can select multiple points at the same time and then curve all of them at the same time to a fixed point that you can go in and adjust them separately. I think it's something that's quite recently added to Illustrator actually, but I just find it so much easier to use on Affinity Designer. And when working on vector illustrations like the one I'm doing now, it's much easier if you have a good like curve tool. And I fell in love with it, and I can't stop making illustrations like that now, as you can tell, hence this video. And I also love the gradient tool, which is what I'm fiddling about with now. So I'm sort of messing about. So colour palette. Yeah. So at this point, I've gone off and I found a couple of reference pictures that I really like the tones of. And I've just picked a couple of colours, and I've picked 10 colours. And I try and stick to those 10 colours when I'm doing the illustration. So I obviously am using lots of gradients as well. So the background is a gradient. It just adds more depth, even though it's a flat vector illustration. I think adding gradients adds more to it. It makes it lift off more of the page. So it lifts the kind of the focus central of London off of the background, which I quite like. And you'll notice here there's also a hat on that building. It's because it's Calais the bar, which I'll talk about more in a minute. And I wanted to make it Alice in Wonderland thing, so I was like, I'll draw the Mad Hatter's hat. But I actually, in the end, decided not to use the hat. And because this footage is quite long, I was trying to cut it down. I cut out the bit where of me drawing that, so just ignore that for now because it doesn't end up in the final illustration. I do fiddle about with it a bit, but eventually I turn it off as there and hide it and it won't be seen again. I just thought it didn't really fit with the style of the illustration. It was not quite right, and I couldn't think of anything better at the time, so I left it out. So I just left with the little mushrooms that you see there. Now I'm sort of fiddling about, repositioning stuff, making sure I'm happy with everything. So Clue, no, what's it called? Clue, I always get that wrong. It is a Lewis Carroll themed cocktail bar where they do have a cocktail menu, but you're encouraged to kind of talk to the bartenders about what flavours of cocktails that you like, and then they create something specially for you. So you're made to get like a custom cocktail essentially. I think it's really brilliant. It's a little bit more pricey than your average cocktail bar. I think it's about £9 a cocktail, but I think it's worth a visit. Go for one, experience it, and the decor is amazing. There is a wardrobe in the top left. It's a really small bar. A wardrobe in the top left, and you go through it to go through to the bathrooms, which I think is just quite a fun little feature. So now I'm sort of duplicating different elements to make the foliage and stuff. So making the waves in the water. I really like this this style of waves and stuff. Just using basically oblongs joined together. There you go. So you can see me working on the curves at the moment. So connecting those sort of rectangles together. There we go. Using the curve tool. There we go, and it happens really quickly. I can just select how curvy I want it to be. Clue, definitely worth a visit if you have a chance. It's in Shoreditch. It's on. It's just off Shoreditch High Street. And it's a really lovely place to visit. Yeah. So until I know what to say, I'll just talk a bit more about Affinity Designer. I've got a couple of notes here, which is why I keep pausing. This isn't an advert, by the way. They're not. I have no connection with them at all. I just absolutely love it, and I think it's brilliant. And because it's so cheap, I think everybody should try it. Everyone should give, because people get put off by doing some design work or illustration work because the software is so bloody expensive. Excuse me. But Affinity Designer makes that possible. So it was released years ago, and it's a smooth, fast vector illustration program. But what I love about it is that it allows you not only to mix vector illustration but also raster as well. So it's got 3 personas, which if you can see in the top left corner there are 3 little icons. So currently I'm on the vector persona and I'm using that only for this illustration. But the one next to it, which is like the little squares, is the raster persona, which is where you can then mix vector and raster, so you can do things like painting and stuff like that, and it gives you a much broader range of like painting tools, kind of like Photoshop does, or Illustrator, I guess. But I've not actually played around too much with that persona. I've not had time, but maybe I'll do a video on that in the future once I've had a chance to play around with it. And then the third persona that you see up there is what they call the export persona. So it allows you to do things like slicing illustrations, you know, whatever kind of file type you want to save it as. And it's really useful to just have that separated out and to give you all the tools that you need to sort of save out your work really easily. I'm just quickly making some little trees, using masks to mask the stripes that I'm making there, just to give the tree a bit more depth. Oh, here I decided that my so the car park for Thanks Bar, I don't think it really looked enough like a car park. I'd already added on the kind of ramps on the right hand side, but then I thought, let's add a car in as well, just to make it a bit more obvious. I think if you don't know the context of this illustration, it might not be too obvious what's going on, but I add in some typography later on, which helps out a little bit. Now I'm adding in the road. This is not any road in particular. I guess it's kind of the north-south circular roads, but yeah, there aren't any roads really that run like this in London. But I just thought it'd be, it's a city. It looks a bit bland without any roads. Doesn't really come across as a city without it. So yeah, just fiddling about and getting the positioning right. And then, yeah, another thing that I really love about Affinity Designer is it has infinite zoom capabilities. And actually, I meant when I was filming this to do an example to show you, but I didn't. But basically, I could copy this whole illustration, zoom in to 1,000,000%, so like -1,000,000, copy the same illustration, size it down, and it would be exactly the same proportions, apart from strokes, which have to be expanded, obviously. Which I think is absolutely fantastic, because I really hate that in Illustrator when you get down to 1 pixel and you can't align things properly because the zoom doesn't work. Oh, and it drives me absolutely spare. So if that annoys you about Illustrator, then this would definitely be one for you. And another one is the flexible workspace. You can so all of the tools on the top bar that you're seeing, I've positioned those myself when I first used the software, and where everything is on the right hand side as well. So I like having the transform at the bottom, so I can type in exact pixel positions if I need to, or because I like to work in pixel sizes just because it's what I know that you can work in inches or centimeters or whatever it is you want to work in, really. I'm sure there's some kind of best practice, which I'm not supposed to say, but hey. Yeah, and then I like having a big layers panel, because it's hard to tell from the speed of this, but I'm sort of grouping the layers, ungrouping them, and selecting things and adding them back together. So yeah, I realise now doing this that I'm not getting to talk too much about the actual techniques, but hopefully you'll get that from watching it speeded up. Maybe in the future I could do some kind of tutorial instead, and I can actually talk more about what I'm doing. But I just today really wanted to talk about the program and show you a little kind of sample of how it works, and then maybe I could do something in more detail in the future. And then they're also coming out with another piece of software called Affinity Photo, which is kind of meant to be the replacement for Photoshop, I guess. I'll be honest, I didn't really get on with that when I first tried it, and I've not got it. I tried it when it was in beta still, and or beta, however you want to say it, and I didn't love it. I wasn't a huge fan. I will go back to it because I love Affinity Designer so much. But yeah, that has lots more photo editing capabilities, obviously. And then they're working on a program called Affinity Publisher, which I guess is going to be kind of like Word, Excel, or Pages if you use Mac. So here I show how I put the box around the typography. And then I'm going to skip, because this video is already 19 minutes and we're not to the end yet. So I skip past me putting the box around. But it's the same process that I did for the BFI text. Here I'm just putting another smaller margin around the edge so that the typography is sort of evenly spaced within. And then I'm centering the artwork, as the height has changed a little bit with that building overhanging on the roads on the right hand side. And then I'm adding in these little pointers and stuff. yeah, and then other things that I've done are I've gone in and added in some more foliage, so some other parks, and one in South London near the Peckham thing. Obviously, these aren't like exact positionings. This is quite an abstract representation of London, the city. But you get the idea. So adding in all these little pointers just to make it clear which bit of text is pointing to Wix. So yeah, we're getting there really. And then the last thing I'm going to do is go through and add in all of these, all the foliage and stuff. So because the gradient has a background, I have to change the gradients on these shapes just to match the gradient in the background, so that they kind of blend seamlessly into the background. That's kind of the idea anyway. So I'm doing that. So yeah, hoping you like this video. I'm gonna probably sell this on my Etsy store. I haven't launched it yet. I went and got the test prints done this week, and I was really excited about it. I hope you'll head over to it. I think I'm gonna do a video about it maybe next week when I get a bit closer to finishing. Yeah, so it's going to be called The Little Terrarium, the same as my YouTube channel, and I'll be selling 5 watercolour illustrations in A4 and A5 sizes to begin with. I'm only going to get 30 prints done initially, because I want to see how they sell. If they don't sell, then I'm not going to do it, obviously. And then I might get some prints of this done, but I don't know whether it would be a bit contradictory to have 2 completely different styles of illustration work. Obviously here you can see this is kind of quite uniform vector, and then my other work is watercolour illustration. But I work in lots of different mediums, and that excites me, and it keeps me interested in this design process stuff rather than just working the same style. That's another thing I think I might do a video on it in the future as well, is about having illustration style and not necessarily having to have it. Here I'm just adding in the typography on the cafe and tweaking it, changing it to the right typeface. I think it was called Bonus, the typeface that I used. So that's basically it. I hope you liked this kind of style of me talking over a speeded up version of the work. I guess it's a bit different to just a normal speed up listening to music or something. So yeah, let me know. Give me some comments, give me some feedback about what you think. If I should do different styles of videos and stuff. I quite enjoyed this. It was a bit of a longer process to make than last. It took a few hours to do, and obviously recording the voiceover, but let me know. So it's a bit later on in the day now. I finished the illustration. I hope you liked it. Now you can see a little bit more. Hopefully you know a bit more about Affinity Designer. I thoroughly recommend, if you're a designer or you're an aspiring designer or illustrator, you buy and have a play around with this program. It's only £30. It's really, really cheap for design software. And I hope you like my illustration. I'm putting the finished piece here now. If you do, I might do some prints maybe of this in the future. I'm opening up my Etsy store very, very soon. I got all my test prints done this week. I'm very excited. My Etsy store, like my YouTube channel name, will be called The Little Terrarium, so you can have a look there and take a look. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next Sunday. Thank you. Bye. Oh, hi, it's me again. I forgot to say, no, I won't actually be uploading on Sundays. I'll be uploading on Mondays from now on at 6 PM GMT, which is British time. Just because it's easier for me to upload when I have better internet connection. Anyway, see you next week. Bye.